Someone is trying to find the courage to talk to you. It's someone who has been struggling with their own pride, with their own insecurities, but who feels they need to open up. They have rehearsed these words so many times, and yet they still hesitate, not for lack of desire, but because of the fear of how you might react. This person is carrying something inside them that, no matter how much they try to ignore, they can no longer keep. It's about you, about what you mean, about what was left in the past, or perhaps what was never said. There is an almost urgent need to connect, but fear still holds them back. Did you notice? Lately, maybe in the messages they sent, in the half-cut words, or in the silences that seemed bigger than they should be. There's something there, something only you can unlock if you're willing to listen. They are in an internal struggle right now, between the desire to run to you and the fear of opening their heart and being rejected. But the feeling, it's stronger than pride, stronger than fear. The only question left is, are you ready to listen? They still don't know how you will react. This doubt is what weighs the most, what paralyzes them the most. It's not easy to show vulnerability, especially when pride has served as armor for so long. But something changed, something inside them that now pushes them forward. You are important, perhaps more than you imagine. This person doesn't want to make a mistake with you, but at the same time they feel they can no longer stay silent. They know they might be risking everything, because unspoken words can also become barriers, and each passing day seems to drift you further apart. This consumes them, the indecision of when and how to speak, the fear of even choosing the wrong words. But what about you? Are you paying attention? Can you see the signs, even those that weren't clear? Sometimes we get used to the simple, small gestures and forget that they can carry huge meanings. Perhaps that message that seemed vague was a plea for attention. Maybe that longer look was trying to tell you something. Maybe when they changed the subject from something important, it was because they weren't ready. But now they are. They feel that it's the right moment, even though everything inside them screams otherwise. There's an anxiety in wanting to get it right, in wanting to be understood. It's not about placing the responsibility on you. It's about sharing something they've kept inside for so long that it no longer fits. It's a risky step. They know that by opening up, there is no guarantee that you will accept, listen, or even understand. Perhaps you felt this before, too. The sensation of wanting to say something but not knowing if it will be received. Of wanting to speak but not knowing if the other person is still willing to listen. Now, the roles are reversed. You are the listener this time. You have the power to decide how this story will unfold, and don't think this is easy for them. It's not just about pride, it's about the burden of admitting that they might have failed you in some way. It's about carrying the fear that it might be too late. It's about confronting their own shame, their own insecurity, and laying all of this before you. They want you to know that it wasn't a lack of desire before. It was fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of not being enough. And now, even with these fears still present, they have decided to face them. Because what they feel for you, what they carry inside themselves, is greater than anything holding them back. Are you ready to listen? Truly. Because listening in this case is not just about hearing words. It's about seeing the soul of someone who is emotionally undressing in front of you. It's understanding that every word spoken is a battle won, that behind what is being said, there is a heart beating fast, full of doubts, but also of hope. And above all, this person wants you to know that if they are trying now, it's because you matter. They wouldn't do this for just anyone. They wouldn't face all this for something small. You occupy such a large space inside them that they simply can't ignore it anymore. What will happen after they speak? Not even they know. They just know they need to try, that they need to say it, even if their voice trembles, even if they can't put everything into words on the first attempt. Because keeping this in is hurting more than any reaction you could have. But the question remains. Are you ready? Are you willing to make space for what they have to say? Are you willing to embrace it even if it's hard? Because just as they are risking a lot by opening up, you also have the chance to decide how this connection will evolve from here. There are no promises here, just a silent, almost desperate plea for a moment of truth between the two of you. They are putting their heart in your hands. Are you willing to hold it? Maybe this is what the universe is putting in front of you now, an opportunity for reconnection, for understanding, for something new. but everything depends on how you handle it. So, the question is not just if you are ready to listen, the question is also, are you ready to feel? To see the other person without the masks, without the barriers we normally place between ourselves and the world? This person doesn't just want to be heard, they want to be understood. They want you to know that even on days when they seem distant, even in moments when you thought there was nothing there, they were fighting to find a way to reach you. And now, that moment has arrived. The truth is, after this conversation happens, nothing will be the same as before. And that can be scary, because change requires courage, it requires maturity. It requires both of you to be willing to look at what's between you without judgments, but with authenticity. This message is not just about them, it's about you both. About something that perhaps can still be salvaged, redone, or even created from scratch. But for that to happen, you need to be present with your body, mind, and heart. Because what is about to be said can change everything. When this person finally decides to speak, you need to truly be there, not just with your ears, but with your attention, your patience. Because what comes to light is not just a request or an explanation. It's the raw vulnerability of someone who is risking everything by exposing something that has been kept inside for so long. They know that your reaction will be decisive. Every word that comes out of your mouth will carry immense weight, more than you can imagine. And that's why all they want, all they need, is to feel that you are there, available to listen without haste, without prejudice, without interruptions. Not to judge or respond immediately, but to understand. They have expectations, of course. Perhaps in their mind, they've already imagined what they would like to hear from you, even knowing that reality might be completely different. But that's not what matters now. What's important to them is not just what you will say, but how you will react, how you will look into their eyes when the words start to come out. Do you know what it's like to hold something so deep for so long that when you finally speak, the words don't do justice to what's inside? That's what they are feeling right now. They are afraid you won't understand the intensity of what's being said, because for them, every word has a gigantic meaning, and they don't know if they will be able to convey it in the right way. But still, they are going to try. Not because it's easy, but because what they feel is greater than the fear, greater than the pride, greater than any doubt. They need you to know. They need to get this out before the silence consumes everything. And deep down, it's about more than just speaking. It's about what happens afterward. Because this conversation is not an end point. It's a beginning. More than anything, they want you to be willing to walk together after this, wherever this conversation may lead. You might be wondering, why now? Why not before? The answer isn't simple. It might be because they only now found the courage, or maybe because now they realize how much you really matter, or perhaps because they felt time was passing too quickly, taking with it the chances of something that could be much greater. The right moment doesn't always come when we expect it, but it comes. And now, this moment is here. The question is, what the two of you are going to do with it. They don't want to pressure you, they don't want you to feel obligated to anything, but they need you to know that if they are here, if they are opening up, it's because they see something in you, something that makes them believe it's worth trying, that it's worth exposing themselves, that it's worth taking this risk. Have you felt this before? That moment when all you want is for someone to look into your eyes and really see you. Not just hear you, but truly see you. That's what they want now, for you to see who they are, with all the imperfections, with all the mistakes and successes, for you to realize how much they are trying, even without knowing how it will all end. And more than that, they want to know if, after everything is said, you will still be there. Because it's easy to listen, but it's hard to stay. It's easy to say, I understand, but it's hard to show it with actions. They want you to stay, to show that you listened not just with your ears but with your heart. But the truth is they are also prepared for the worst. Because as much as they want a positive outcome, they know they can't control your reaction. They understand that no matter how much they open up, you have the right to decide what you want to do with it. And that's what makes it all so scary. But even so, they have decided to take the risk. Because carrying this alone is no longer an option. They know that if they don't speak up now, they may lose this chance forever. And living with the what if is a pain they are no longer willing to bear. Maybe they will come to you with trembling voices, with sweaty hands, not knowing where to start. Maybe they will get lost in words or stay silent, trying to find the right way to say what they feel. But when that happens, all they will need is a safe space, a moment where they can express themselves without fear of being interrupted, judged, or dismissed. And you? Are you ready to offer that? Because hearing someone who is vulnerable is not just an act of kindness, it is a commitment. A commitment to respect what is being said, to welcome it, even if you don't have all the answers at the time. They don't want you to change everything at once. They are not expecting perfection. They just want you to be present. They want you to show that you are at least willing to try to understand. Because for them that would already be a huge step. A sign that it was worth facing all the fears, all the ghosts, and finally placing their heart in someone's hands. Now it's up to you. Are you ready for this moment? Because it's coming. And when it arrives, it will be impossible to ignore. They will be there, vulnerable, real. And all they expect is that you are willing to be there too, on the other side, ready to listen and feel. They are coming to you with everything they have, not because it's easy, but because they feel it's worth it. And now the choice is also in your hands. This person is offering you something rare, a truth, without masks, without defenses. They are trusting you to handle it with care, not to turn your back, not to treat what is being said as something trivial. But there's something important you need to understand. Even though they are vulnerable, they are not begging. This is not about weakness. It is about strength. Because true courage is this: facing fear, pride, ego, and allowing oneself to be seen for what they really are. And they are doing this for you because they believe that you have something special, because they believe that somehow you can be part of this story they are trying to build. And now I want you to think about this. What would you do if you were in their place? If you were the one trying to open up, trying to show how you feel, how would you like to be treated? Because what is about to happen is exactly this: a silent plea for empathy. Not a request for agreement, for acceptance, but to see, to listen with an open heart, to be the kind of person who makes space for the other to exist with all their fears and hopes. When this conversation happens, and it will happen, maybe sooner than you think, remember this: the way you react can define the course of something much bigger. Your words, your look, your gesture can build a bridge or raise a wall, and that choice is yours. Just as they are choosing to open up, you can choose how to respond. You might be thinking, what if I don't know what to say? What if I make a mistake? It doesn't matter. It's not about having the right answers. It's about being present, about being genuine, about showing that you are there, even if you are still trying to understand everything. Because sometimes what matters most are not the words, but the attitude, the space you create for the other to feel safe. And if at that moment you feel like opening up as well, do it. That connection can go far beyond a conversation. It can be the beginning of something transformative, something that only happens when two people decide to truly meet, without the barriers of pride, fear, and doubt. Now, before all this happens, I want you to think, are you ready for this moment? Are you willing to be honest, to be human, to show that despite the flaws and uncertainties, you are also here, trying? Because that's what will make the difference. It doesn't matter if the conversation is difficult, if there are hurts or uncertainties. What matters is that in the end, you both know that you tried, that you were sincere, that you gave it your all. And after this conversation, what comes next depends on both of you. It could be the restart of something that seemed lost. It could be the beginning of a connection that never had a chance to flourish. Or it could simply be a moment of clarity, closure, and peace. Whatever it is, it will be real. And that is more than many people can achieve. Now I want you to do something. I want you to reflect on everything we talked about here and prepare yourself. It's not just about being ready to listen to the other person, but also to look within yourself, to understand what you feel, what you want, what you are willing to build. And if this message touched you in some way, if you felt that it resonates with something happening in your life, I want you to be part of this exchange. Subscribe to the channel right now and leave a comment below. I want to know, have you ever experienced a situation like this? Have you ever felt that someone was trying to open up but didn't know how? Or have you been the one who needed to find the courage to speak? Share your experience. Your story can help other people understand that they are not alone. And of course, don't forget to like this video. This is more than just a simple gesture. It helps this message reach other people, to touch other lives who might need to hear this right now. Let's together spread this energy of understanding, connection, and humanity. So, from now on, prepare yourself. When the moment arrives, remember that it's not just about what will be said, but about the space you will create for this conversation to happen. Be generous, be honest, be human, and more than anything, be present, because true connections are made of this.